20 black celebrities who got sued for millions. What if I told you that a single hand gesture could cost $5 million, or a missed flight could trigger a $10 million lawsuit? From Rihanna's brush with bankruptcy to Diddy's historic prison sentence, the world of black excellence isn't just about Grammys and private jets. It's a high-stakes battlefield where one RMI can lead to a multi-million-dollar downfall. These icons built empires, but the legal system almost tore them down. Welcome to Black Excellence Legends. Today we're exposing the most expensive legal nightmares in entertainment history. Subscribe now and hit the bell. You won't believe the price of fame. Steve Harvey. In the landscape of high-stakes celebrity litigation, few cases have been as sensational or emotionally charged as the legal battle between television titan Steve Harvey and his former spouse Mary Vaughn. This dispute, reaching its peak in 2017, saw Vaughn file a staggering $60 million lawsuit against the Family Feud host, alleging a series of disturbing actions that she claimed occurred both during and after their 9-year marriage. The lawsuit was notable not just for the astronomical figure demanded, but for the unique and harrowing terminology used in the filings. Vaughn accused Harvey of soul murder, a phrase meant to encapsulate extreme mental anguish and the systematic destruction of her psychological well-being. The allegations extended to child endangerment, torture, and a conspiracy against her civil rights. She claimed that the aftermath of their 2005 divorce had left her emotionally devastated and financially marginalized, asserting that Harvey used his immense media influence to silence her. However, the legal system saw the situation differently. Harvey's defense team remained steadfast, dismissing the claims as a meritless attempt to damage his public image. They argued that the allegations lacked any evidentiary basis and were merely a pursuit of financial gain. In December 2017, Judge Gregory Kiosian of the Los Angeles Superior Court dealt a decisive blow to the lawsuit. The judge dismissed the case, noting that it had been filed by a civil rights activist rather than a licensed attorney on Vaughn's behalf. Furthermore, the court ruled that any lingering disputes regarding their divorce should have been handled in Texas, where the original proceedings took place. This victory allowed Harvey to preserve his reputation and continue his reign as one of the most bankable personalities in entertainment. Gucci Mane. In the world of Southern hip-hop, Radric Davis, widely known as Gucci Mane, is celebrated as a pioneer of the trap genre. However, in 2012, his penchant for bling led to a high-stakes legal confrontation that threatened his financial stability. The conflict ignited when Raffaello and Company, a luxury jewelry firm based in New York, filed a significant lawsuit against the rapper. The jeweler claimed they had provided Gucci Mane with several high-end pieces on a credit basis, including a diamond pinky ring valued at $130,000, alongside a diamond necklace, and a bracelet worth an additional $110,000. The agreement was straightforward. Davis was given a 15-day window to either finalize the purchase or return the precious items. While the rapper managed to make an initial payment of $40,000, the remaining balance remained unpaid, and the jewelry was not returned. This prompted the company to seek legal recourse, demanding $274,500 to cover the outstanding debt interest and punitive damages. The situation escalated when Gucci Mane failed to appear for his scheduled court dates, showing a perceived disregard for the legal proceedings that often characterizes his rebellious public persona. Due to his absence, a New York judge issued a default judgment in favor of Raffaello and Company. This legal maneuver allowed the firm to place a lien on the rapper's property, essentially freezing his assets to ensure the debt would be satisfied. This case serves as a cautionary tale within the industry regarding the intersection of celebrity lifestyle and contractual obligations. While Gucci Mane eventually stabilized his life and career following a transformative prison stint years later, this multi-thousand-dollar jewelry dispute remains a prominent mark on his legal record, highlighting the volatile nature of fame and the consequences of failing to honor professional agreements. Future. Nayvadius Muncash, the Atlanta visionary known as Future, has dominated the charts with his prolific output, but his rapid ascent was met with a monumental legal challenge from the very man who helped discover him. In 2016, Rocco, the founder of One Recordings, slapped the mask-off rapper with a massive breach of contract lawsuit. Rocco alleged that Future had ignored a 2011 agreement which stipulated that his first 6 studio albums were to be released under the A1 label. Instead, Future signed a side deal with Epic Records, allegedly pocketing multi-million-dollar advances while leaving his original mentor in the financial cold. The legal battle was a high-stakes chess match involving massive industry figures like Loe Reed. Rocco's demands were staggering. He sought 20% of Future's total earnings, which included not just album sales, but lucrative touring revenue and high-end endorsement deals. The lawsuit painted a picture of a star who had outgrown his initial platform and sought to bypass his contractual roots for a bigger piece of the corporate pie. For nearly a year, the two parties traded barbs in a conflict that threatened to derail Future's momentum at the peak of his career. By 2017, the dispute reached a dramatic resolution. Rather than a standard cash payout, the settlement reportedly involved a complex restructuring of Future's wealth. To satisfy the debt, it was agreed that all royalties from Future's next two major albums would go directly to Rocco. Furthermore, the rapper allegedly had to surrender 50% of his touring income for a 2-year period to repay advances. This settlement, combined with a separate $5 million defamation truce with his ex-fiancée Ciara, serves as a powerful reminder of how the intricate webs of the music business can claim millions even from the industry's most unstoppable forces. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar, often hailed as the king of modern rap for his Pulitzer-winning lyricism and conscious storytelling, usually stays clear of the messy tabloid scandals that plague his peers. However, in 2015, the Compton icon found himself entangled in a legal dispute that highlighted the complex world of feature clearances and music ownership. The conflict began when Canadian rapper Jonathan Emil released the track Heaven Help Dem, which featured a guest verse from Lamar. Shortly after its debut, the song was abruptly scrubbed from YouTube and SoundCloud due to a copyright takedown notice filed by Lamar's camp. Emil, far from backing down, filed a lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar, Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, and Interscope Records. He claimed that he had legally paid for the Kendrick feature and that the takedown notice was a deceptive tactic to suppress the song. According to the lawsuit, after Emil made the payment for the guest verse, all communication from Lamar's management ceased. When the song was finally released, the major labels allegedly used the legal system to silence the independent artist, damaging his reputation by making it appear as though he had stolen the verse. Emil sought damages for the loss of momentum and the bullying tactics used by the corporate giants. The case eventually landed in a small claims court, providing a rare moment where a grassroots artist faced off against a global superstar. In a victory for independent music creators, the judge ruled in favor of Jonathan Emil. The court found that because the feature had been paid for, the takedown notices were unjustified. Emil was awarded approximately $6,400 plus interest. While the dollar amount was small compared to the multi-million-dollar figures typical of celebrity lawsuits, the case was a significant moral victory. It underscored the risks involved in high-level collaborations and reinforced the idea that even the industry's most respected figures must honor the contractual rights of independent artists. Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige, the undisputed queen of hip-hop soul, has built a legendary career on the foundation of raw vulnerability and musical excellence. However, in 2013, her professional reliability was called into question through a significant legal confrontation with Vision Entertainment Worldwide, VEW. The company filed a lawsuit demanding $145,000 in damages, alleging that the singer had flagrantly breached a performance contract for a scheduled concert in Dallas, Texas. According to the filing, Blige had already accepted a substantial $145,000 deposit to headline the event on December 9, 2012, but withdrew from the commitment just days before the curtains were set to rise. The controversy deepened when the motive behind her cancellation became public. VEW claimed that instead of honoring her agreement in Dallas, Blige opted to travel to the Barclays Center in New York to perform alongside Mick Jagger in the Rolling Stones on December 8, 2012. The lawsuit suggested that the allure of sharing the stage with rock royalty outweighed her contractual obligations to the Dallas promoters. This scheduling conflict left the organizers in a financial tailspin, as they had already invested heavily in marketing, venue logistics, and ticket sales, only to have their star attraction vanish at the 11th hour. Blige's legal team fought back, categorically denying the accusations of a contract breach. They argued that the claims were untrue and that there were valid, non-malicious reasons for the change in the plans. While the case drew intense media scrutiny due to Blige's A-list status and the perceived diva nature of choosing one legend over another, it highlighted the brutal reality of the touring industry. For promoters, a single cancellation can lead to bankruptcy. For artists, it is a reminder that every signature carries a heavy price tag. The dispute eventually faded from the headlines, but it remains a cautionary chapter in Bleach's storied legacy about the fragile balance between artistic opportunity and professional liability. Snoop Dogg. Calvin Broadus Jr., globally revered as Snoop Dogg, has successfully transitioned from a West Coast gangster rap pioneer to a beloved mainstream cultural icon. However, in 2005, his laid-back persona was severely tested by a harrowing legal battle. A celebrity makeup artist filed a staggering $25 million lawsuit against the rapper, alleging a traumatic incident that reportedly took place following a taping of Jimmy Kimmel Live in January 2003. The plaintiff claimed that Snoop Dogg and several members of his entourage had drugged and assaulted her, asserting that her champagne had been spiked with an unknown substance, leading to immense physical and emotional distress. The legal fallout was immediate and intense. The accuser, represented by high-profile attorneys, sought massive punitive damages, painting a dark picture of the rapper's backstage environment. Snoop Dogg's legal defense team, however, presented a radically different version of events. They categorically denied all allegations of misconduct, labeling the claims as a fabricated attempt to siphon money from a wealthy celebrity. Snoop's lawyers pointed out that the woman had spent 2 years attempting to reach a private financial settlement before filing the public lawsuit, which they argued suggested a motive of financial gain rather than a quest for justice. In a bold, strategic move, Snoop Dogg fired back by filing a countersuit for extortion, claiming the lawsuit was part of a calculated scheme to damage his reputation for profit. This legal Mexican standoff lasted for months, creating a media firestorm that threatened Snoop's increasingly corporate-friendly image. Ultimately, to avoid the drain of a protracted and public trial, both parties opted for an out-of-court settlement. While the financial terms remained strictly confidential, the resolution allowed Snoop to move forward and eventually transform into the multifaceted entrepreneur he is today. The case remains a stark example of the multi-million-dollar risk stars face when personal allegations collide with corporate brands. Drake. Aubrey Drake Graham Bishop. The global juggernaut known simply as Drake has long sat at the intersection of commercial dominance and artistic controversy. While he is often praised for his ability to synthesize various musical influences, his penchant for borrowing styles and lyrics has occasionally led to costly disputes. One of the most notable instances occurred in 2014, revolving around his guest appearance on YYG's club anthem, Who Do You Love? Critics and fans quickly noticed that Drake's opening bars were almost identical to the 1994 classic Players Club by San Francisco rap legend Rappin' Forte. The lyrical overlap was undeniable, where Forte rapped about having a hoe named Real to Real and a buddy named SB12. Drake flipped the lines to reference a shorty named Texas and a buddy named Young JB. While Drake likely viewed the verse as a nod or homage to a West Coast pioneer, Rappin' Forte was far from flattered. The veteran artist took to social media to express his frustration, accusing the Canadian superstar of copying his rhymes without paying proper homage or providing financial credit. The situation underscored a recurring tension in hip-hop, the thin line between honoring a predecessor and unauthorized appropriation. Rather than allowing the dispute to escalate into a protracted courtroom battle, Drake's legal team opted for a swift private resolution. In July 2014, reports surfaced that Drake's label had agreed to pay Rappin' Forte $100,000 to settle the matter and clear the use of the lyrics. This six-figure apology successfully silenced the brewing legal storm and allowed the song to remain a staple in Drake's live sets. While $100,000 might seem like a drop in the bucket for an artist of Drake's magnitude, the case remains a significant example of the high price of lyrical borrowing and serves as a reminder that in the age of digital scrutiny, even a respectful homage requires a formal contract. Jay-Z. Sean Carter, the billionaire mogul known as Jay-Z, has spent decades building a business empire that transcends music. However, in 2005, one of the most recognizable symbols of his brand, the rock sign, became the subject of a high-stakes trademark infringement lawsuit. Professional wrestling legend Diamond Dallas Page DP sued Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records for $5 million, claiming that the rapper had illegally misappropriated his signature diamond cutter hand gesture. For years, DDP had used the gesture, which involves joining the thumbs and index fingers, to form a diamond shape as his primary trademark in the ring. The lawsuit alleged that Jay-Z's use of a near-identical gesture to represent his rock empire was causing significant consumer confusion and devaluing DDP's established brand. DDP argued that he had legally trademarked the symbol and used it to sell merchandise long before Jay-Z popularized it in the hip-hop world. The legal battle pitted two different entertainment titans against one another, a wrestling icon defending his intellectual property and a rap kingpin asserting that a simple handshake should be part of the public domain. Jay-Z's legal team initially argued that the gesture was a common symbol and that no single individual could claim exclusive ownership over a geometric shape made with hands. Despite the initial tension, the case never made it to a full trial. In 2007, both parties reached a confidential out-of-court settlement just as the discovery phase was intensifying. While the exact financial terms were never disclosed to the public, it was widely reported that Jay-Z paid a substantial sum to DDP for the rights to continue using the symbol. This resolution allowed Jay-Z to retain the rock sign as a cornerstone of his branding, which he eventually trademarked himself for various uses in 2018. The case stands as a fascinating example of how even a non-verbal gesture can carry a multi-million-dollar price tag in the world of global branding. Rihanna Fenty, the global icon who would eventually become a billionaire mogul, faced a harrowing financial cliff early in her career that almost derailed her entire empire. In 2012, Rihanna filed a high-profile $35 million lawsuit against her former accounting firm, Burdon LLP, and two specific accountants, Michael Mitnick and Peter Gunas. The legal battle exposed a shocking level of financial mismanagement that took place between 2005 and 2010. Rihanna alleged that despite her booming career, she was bleeding cash due to the firm's negligence. The most startling revelation in the court filings was that by the end of 2009, her cash reserves had plummeted from $11 million to a mere $2 million, effectively leaving her near bankruptcy. The lawsuit detailed a series of disastrous professional decisions facilitated by her advisors. Rihanna claimed that Burdon LLP encouraged her to embark on the 2009 Last Girl on Earth tour, despite it being clearly unprofitable. While the tour lost millions, the firm reportedly structured their commission to take a staggering 22% to 23% of the gross revenue, leaving Rihanna with only 6% of the total receipts. Furthermore, she alleged they gave her the green light to purchase a $7 million mansion in Southern California at a time when her finances were in a tailspin. This advice proved catastrophic as the home was later found to have significant mold and water damage, forcing her to sell it at a $2 million loss. By 2014, the legal storm reached its conclusion. Facing a trial where she would have been forced to testify about her private finances, both parties reached a massive out-of-court settlement. Reports indicated that Rihanna secured a payment of more than $10 million to resolve the dispute. This victory was not just about the money, it was a pivotal moment in her career that taught her the necessity of financial literacy. Following the severance of her ties with Burdon LP, Rihanna took greater control over her business ventures, eventually launching Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, proving that her brush with bankruptcy was merely a stepping stone toward becoming the wealthiest female musician in the world. Kevin Hart, the global comedy powerhouse, whose relentless work ethic has built a billion-dollar brand, faced a grueling legal crisis in 2019 that threatened both his fortune and his family. The controversy centered on a $60 million lawsuit filed by Montia Sabag, a woman who appeared in a leaked 2017 video showing an intimate encounter with Hart in a Las Vegas hotel room. Sabag accused the comedian of intentional infliction of emotional distress and invasion of privacy, alleging that Hart had conspired with his longtime friend Jonathan Todd Jackson to secretly record the encounter as a publicity stunt for his upcoming comedy tour. The legal battle was fraught with high tension and public apologies. Hart's defense team remained adamant that the comedian was a victim of an extortion plot rather than a co-conspirator. They argued that Hart had no knowledge of the hidden camera and that Jackson had acted independently to attempt to blackmail the star. Hart famously took to Instagram to issue a heartfelt apology to his wife and children, admitting to a bad error in judgment, but maintaining his innocence regarding the recording. The lawsuit claimed that Hart's negligence allowed the recording to happen, causing Sabag irreparable reputational harm and psychological trauma. By 2020, the legal tide turned decisively in Hart's favor. A federal judge in California dismissed the $60 million lawsuit, ruling that Sabag's legal team had failed to provide sufficient evidence to support the claims of a conspiracy or intentional harm. The judge also noted jurisdictional issues as the incident took place in Nevada. While the case was later refiled and went through several rounds of legal maneuvers, it eventually hit a dead end in the courts. For Hart, the resolution was a massive relief, allowing him to preserve his massive commercial partnerships and continue his reign as a Hollywood mogul. The case serves as a cautionary tale of how personal indiscretions in the digital age can spiral into multi-million-dollar legal nightmares. Usher Raymond IV, the R&B legend, whose smooth vocals defined a generation, faced a series of high-stakes legal challenges starting in 2017 that pivoted from his music to his most private life. The most prominent case involved a $20 million lawsuit filed by Laura Helm, who alleged that the singer had exposed her to the herpes virus during unprotected encounters. Helm initially sought $10 million in damages, but doubled the amount after claiming a positive diagnosis, accusing the Confessions star of negligence fraud and intentional infliction of emotional distress for failing to disclose his health status. The legal fallout extended beyond a single plaintiff. Reports surfaced detailing a prior $1.1 million settlement from 2012 involving a different woman under similar allegations. As the news broke, several other individuals, including a man and two anonymous women, represented by high-profile attorney Lisa Bloom, joined the legal fray seeking unspecified damages. Usher's defense team maintained his innocence throughout, challenging the validity of the claims and the motivations behind the lawsuits. The controversy created a massive media storm, putting Usher's reputation as a family-friendly global ambassador at significant risk, while he was in the midst of high-profile career ventures. By May 2019, the primary $20 million legal battle reached a quiet conclusion. Court documents revealed that Usher and Laura Helm had reached an amicable resolution, and the case was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it could never be refiled. While the specific financial terms of the settlement remain confidential, such resolutions in high-profile celebrity cases typically involve substantial payouts to avoid a public trial. By 2020, Usher had effectively cleared his legal slate, allowing him to focus on his successful Las Vegas residency and his 2024 Super Bowl performance. The saga serves as a heavy reminder of how personal health matters can transform into multi-million-dollar legal liabilities for those in the global spotlight. 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson, the rap phenomenon known as 50 Cent, has long been a master of utilizing conflict as a marketing tool. However, in 2015, this strategy resulted in a catastrophic legal backfire. The conflict centered on Lastonia Leviston, the former girlfriend of 50 Cent's bitter rival, Rick Ross. In 2009, during the height of their rap war, 50 Cent obtained a private intimate video of Leviston and her then partner. He edited the footage, adding himself as a crude commentator, wearing a wig, a character he called Pimpin' Curly, and leaked the 13-minute clip online to humiliate Ross. The legal repercussions were swift and severe. Leviston filed an invasion of privacy lawsuit, testifying that the leak left her suicidal and humiliated. In July 2015, a New York jury ordered 50 Cent to pay her $5 million in compensatory damages, followed shortly by an additional $2 million in punitive damages, bringing the total to $7 million. Just days after the initial verdict, 50 Cent made a shocking move. He filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. To the public, it seemed the get-rich-or-die-trying star was broke, but to legal experts, it was a calculated chess move designed to halt the payout and reorganize his estimated $36 million in debt. During the bankruptcy proceedings, 50 Cent famously had to explain photos of himself posing with stacks of cash on Instagram, claiming they were merely prop money used to maintain his brand's tough image. The bankruptcy lasted nearly 2 years. In February 2017, a judge discharged the case early after Jackson paid off more than $22 million of his total debt. This was made possible by an $8.7 million personal payment and a massive $13.65 million settlement he won in a separate legal malpractice lawsuit against his former attorneys. Leviston ultimately accepted a reduced lump sum of $6 million as part of the deal. By clearing his slate 5 years ahead of schedule, 50 Cent proved that while he may have hit a rough patch, his business instincts remained as sharp as ever. Nicki Minaj. Onika Tanya Miraj Petty, the rap titan known as Nicki Minaj, has built an empire on bold lyricism and a fierce defense of her artistry. However, in 2018, her creative process collided with the strict principles of folk rock legend Tracy Chapman. The legal firestorm ignited over a track titled Sorry by a collaboration with Nas intended for Minaj's Queen album. The song heavily interpolated Chapman's 1988 classic, Baby Can I Hold You? Despite multiple polite but firm rejections from Chapman, who is famously protective of her work and sits on a do not sample list, the track was recorded and eventually leaked to New York radio DJ Funkmaster Flex. The ensuing copyright infringement lawsuit became a landmark case for the music industry. Chapman accused Minaj of stealing her lyrics and vocal melody, seeking significant damages and a permanent injunction against the song's distribution. Minaj's defense team initially leaned on the fair use doctrine, arguing that artists must have the freedom to experiment with samples in the studio during the creative phase, without fear of litigation. In a pivotal summary judgment in 2020, a federal judge actually agreed with Minaj on this specific point, ruling that studio experimentation did not inherently constitute infringement. However, the judge also ruled that a trial was necessary to determine if Minaj or her team were responsible for the actual leak and public distribution of the song. To avoid a high-profile trial that could have resulted in even steeper penalties, Nicki Minaj opted for a decisive resolution. In early 2021, she offered Chapman a $450,000 offer of judgment, which the legendary singer-songwriter accepted. While Minaj's camp maintained that settling was a purely financial decision to avoid mounting legal fees, Chapman hailed the outcome as a victory for artists' rights in the protection of creative intellectual property. The Sorry saga serves as a permanent reminder that in the world of high-stakes music publishing, no means no, and even a song that never officially hits the shelves can carry a nearly $500,000 price tag. Chris Brown. Christopher Morris Brown, the R&B phenomenon whose undeniable talent is often overshadowed by a tumultuous legal history, faced one of his most daunting civil battles in 2018. A woman identified in court documents as Jane Doe filed a harrowing $17 million lawsuit against Brown and his associate Lowell Grissom Jr. Young Low, represented by high-profile attorney Gloria Allred, the plaintiff alleged that she was lured to Brown's Los Angeles residence following a concert where she claimed she was falsely imprisoned and repeatedly sexually assaulted. The lawsuit painted a dark picture of a drug-fueled party where phones were allegedly confiscated to prevent guests from seeking help. The fallout from these allegations was catastrophic for Brown's public image, which he had been painstakingly trying to rebuild for nearly a decade. His legal team, led by Mark Garagos, vehemently denied all claims, labeling the lawsuit a shakedown and an attempt to exploit Brown's wealth. They argued that the accusations were entirely fabricated and lacked any corroborating evidence. While this specific civil suit caused a massive media firestorm, it eventually faded from the public eye as both parties moved toward a private resolution. However, the shadow of these Jane Doe allegations remained a persistent thorn in Brown's career, resurfacing in various documentaries and media reports over the following years. In a dramatic turn of events by early 2025, Brown shifted from defense to offense. After a docuseries titled Chris Brown, A History of Violence aired, featuring similar allegations from a Jane Doe, Brown filed a staggering $500 million defamation lawsuit against Warner Brothers, Discovery, and its producers. His legal team argued that the media conglomerate knowingly published lies and deception to profit from a false narrative. Brown's attorneys pointed to the 2022 dismissal of a related case where text messages allegedly exposed the accuser's dishonesty. This $500 million counterstrike represents Brown's most aggressive effort to date to silence his critics and reclaim his legacy, proving that in his world, the courtroom is just as much a stage as the concert hall. Blac Chyna. In the realm of reality television, few rivalries have been as explosive as the legal war between Angela White, better known as Blac Chyna, and the most powerful family in entertainment, the Kardashians. In 2017, Chyna launched a colossal $108 million lawsuit against Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and Kylie Jenner. The heart of her allegation was a claim of intentional interference with contract. China asserted that the family had used their immense industry leverage to force the E! Network into canceling the second season of her reality show, Rob in China, effectively sabotaging her career and financial future. The trial, which finally reached a Los Angeles courtroom in 2022, was a masterclass in celebrity drama. China's legal team argued that the Kardashians had fabricated stories of her physically abusing Rob Kardashian to paint her as an unstable partner, thus giving the network an excuse to axe the show. They claimed the family's motive was purely vengeful following her split from Rob. The Kardashians, however, presented a starkly different narrative. They testified that they were genuinely concerned for Rob's safety, citing a traumatic night where China allegedly held a gun to his head and wrapped a phone charging cord around his neck. Their defense centered on a simple truth: the show was canceled because the couple's relationship had dissolved, making a show about their romance impossible to film. After weeks of high-profile testimony, the jury delivered a crushing blow to China's ambitions. In May 2022, the court returned a sweeping victory for the Kardashian-Jenner clan, awarding Blac Chyna $0 in damages. While the jury acknowledged that the Kardashians had sometimes acted in bad faith regarding their communications with network executives, they concluded that these actions were not the primary reason the show was canceled. This $100 million gamble ended in a total loss for China, serving as a stark reminder that even with a high-profile case, winning against an established media dynasty requires an ironclad burden of proof. Robin Thicke. In the annals of music history, few legal battles have reshaped the industry as profoundly as the conflict surrounding Robin Thicke's 2013 global phenomenon, Blurred Lines. While the track propelled Thicke to international superstardom, it also led to a devastating financial and reputational collision with the estate of soul legend Marvin Gaye. In 2013, Gaye's family alleged that the song was an unauthorized derivative of the 1977 classic, Got to Give It Up. The ensuing litigation became a landmark case as it moved beyond simple lyrical or melodic theft to the far more abstract concept of vibe and groove infringement. The financial stakes were massive. During the trial, it was revealed that Blurred Lines had generated nearly $16.7 million in profits. Of this, Thicke himself pocketed $5.6 million, while his collaborator Pharrell Williams earned $5.1 million. In 2015, a jury initially awarded the Gaye estate a staggering $7.4 million, later reduced by a judge to $5.3 million. The verdict sent shockwaves through Hollywood, as it suggested that merely channeling the feeling of an era could constitute a multi-million-dollar copyright violation. Beyond the cash payout, the court also awarded the Gaye family 50% of all future royalties from the song, ensuring a permanent drain on Thicke's earnings from his biggest hit. Thicke's personal credibility suffered significantly during the proceedings. Under oath, he admitted to being high on Vicodin and alcohol during the studio sessions, even confessing that he had lied in previous interviews about his level of involvement in writing the song just to get credit. He testified that Pharrell had essentially written the entire track while he was in a drug-induced haze. This admission, combined with the final $5 million judgment upheld by an appeals court in 2018, transformed Blurred Lines from a career-defining triumph into a cautionary tale of creative overreach and the high cost of blurring the lines between inspiration and appropriation. Pharrell Williams. Pharrell Williams, the multi-talented visionary behind some of the 21st century's most infectious hits, has navigated a legal landscape as complex as his production layers. While his career is often defined by his happy persona, his legal history is marked by a transformative $5 million copyright battle and a recent high-stakes internal conflict within his legendary production duo, the Neptunes. The most famous chapter in Pharrell's legal saga is the Blurred Lines lawsuit. In 2013, the estate of Marvin Gaye accused Pharrell and Robin Thicke of infringing upon the 1977 classic, Got to Give It Up. This case was revolutionary because it didn't focus on stolen lyrics or melodies, but rather the feel and groove of the music. After a grueling 5-year battle, a final judgment in December 2018 ordered the duo to pay nearly $5 million, $4,983,768. Pharrell and his publishing company were specifically responsible for a portion of the joint damages, plus an additional $357,631. Furthermore, the court awarded the Gay estate 50% of all future royalties, a decision that critics argue set a dangerous precedent by allowing artists to copyright a musical style. As of early 2026, Pharrell is facing a new deeply personal legal storm. His longtime creative partner, Chad Hugo, filed a lawsuit accusing Williams of breach of fiduciary duty and seeking an accounting of at least $1 million in withheld profits. Hugo alleges that Pharrell has systematically excluded him from the business management of the Neptune's entities and attempted to claim sole ownership of the brand. This dispute threatens the legacy of one of hip-hop's most successful partnerships. Simultaneously, Pharrell has taken the offensive in other areas, recently filing a $14 million lawsuit against a promotional company for allegedly producing counterfeit Billionaire Boys Club apparel. For Pharrell, the year 2026 is proving to be a year of defending his brand while settling scores within his inner circle. Kanye West, now legally known as Ye, has experienced one of the most volatile financial trajectories in entertainment history. Once a multi-billionaire with a net worth peaking at approximately $6.6 billion, his empire faced a cataclysmic collapse following a series of controversial public statements in late 2022. By early 2026, Ye's life remains a whirlwind of high-stakes litigation ranging from corporate intellectual property battles to explosive labor disputes and personal misconduct allegations. The most significant financial blow came from the termination of his partnership with Adidas. For nearly a decade, the Yeezy-Adidas union was a juggernaut, generating roughly $1.7 billion in annual sales. However, the 2022 split resulted in Adidas holding $1.3 billion in unsold inventory. While a massive legal fight ensued over royalty payments and freezing of assets, by late 2024, both parties reached a settlement. Adidas CEO Bjorn Gulden confirmed that no one owes anything to anybody anymore, effectively ending their multi-billion-dollar dispute without further cash exchange. Simultaneously, Ye's collaboration with Gap ended in a messy withdrawal, leading to a $2 million lawsuit from the retailer over breached store renovation contracts. The year 2025 brought a new wave of legal and financial crises. In February 2025, Ye was reportedly hit with a $20 million loss in sponsorship and concert funding from Japanese investors. This withdrawal was triggered by the global backlash following his wife Bianca Censori's controversial near-naked appearance at the 67th Grammy Awards, a stunt Ye allegedly orchestrated. Furthermore, he is currently battling a $57 million legal fallout regarding his gutted Malibu mansion. A construction consultant, Tony Saxon, is suing him for unpaid wages and dangerous working conditions. This adds to a growing list of employment lawsuits from former Yeezy and Donda Academy staff, including a high-profile case from a former assistant seeking damages for sexual harassment and wrongful termination. As of 2026, Ye's legal record is a mosaic of geniusness and chaos. From the $20 million settlement with the tech firm MyChannel over stolen e-commerce technology to recent bans in countries like Australia due to controversial political affiliations, his financial landscape has shifted from luxury empire building to defensive litigation. Beyonce Knowles Carter, a paragon of precision and perfectionism, has navigated her fair share of legal labyrinths while building her billion-dollar brand. Her legal history is a mix of high-stakes copyright claims, trademark crusades, and groundbreaking digital accessibility cases. One of the most significant challenges came in 2017 when the estate of the late New Orleans rapper Anthony Barre, Messi Maya, filed a massive $20 million lawsuit against her. The estate alleged that Beyoncé used samples of Barre's voice from his 2010 YouTube videos in her hit single Formation and during her live world tour without permission or compensation. The lawsuit claimed copyright infringement, seeking damages for the unauthorized use of his distinctive voice. While Beyoncé's team argued that the usage fell under fair use, the case reportedly reached a confidential settlement in late 2017, allowing Queen Bey to keep the anthem as a cornerstone of her legacy while resolving the $20 million cloud hanging over it. Simultaneously, Beyoncé spent over a decade in a relentless trademark war for her daughter, Blue Ivy Carter. Shortly after Blue Ivy's birth in 2012, Beyoncé's company sought to trademark the name to prevent others from profiting off it. This move was blocked by Veronica Morales, a wedding planner who had operated Blue Ivy events since 2009. The battle raged for 12 years, filled with appeals and accusations of celebrity entitlement. Finally, on December 31st, 2024, Beyoncé officially secured the trademark for Blue Ivy Carter, with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office ruling that the public would not confuse a global superstar's daughter with a boutique wedding business. In more recent years, Beyoncé has shown a new level of responsiveness to legal and social pressure. During the 2022 release of Renaissance, she faced public backlash from artist Kellis, who accused her of theft for an uncredited interpolation of the 2003 hit Milkshake in the song Energy. Although the legal rights belonged to producers Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo, not Kellis, Beyoncé chose to remove the sample entirely from streaming platforms to silence the controversy. Furthermore, in 2023, she won a tax court battle against the IRS, successfully disputing a $2.7 million tax deficiency claim by proving her charitable contributions were legitimate business deductions. Sean Combs, the music mogul who spent decades at the pinnacle of hip-hop culture, has faced a total collapse of his business empire and public image. His legal journey transitioned from civil settlements to a landmark federal criminal trial that concluded in July 2025, marking one of the most significant downfalls in entertainment history. The catalyst for this downfall was the November 2023 lawsuit filed by his former longtime girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura. While the suit was settled within just 24 hours, the financial details remained a mystery until Cassie testified in federal court on May 14, 2025. She revealed for the first time that Diddy and his companies paid her a staggering $20 million to resolve her allegations of rape and years of physical abuse. This quick settlement, intended to silence the storm, instead acted as a floodgate that led to over a dozen additional civil lawsuits and a massive federal investigation. The federal case reached its climax in July 2025. Following a 7-week trial that featured graphic testimony and evidence, including the infamous 2016 surveillance footage of him assaulting Ventura, the jury delivered a split verdict. Combs was acquitted of the most severe charges: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. However, he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution involving Ventura and another witness. On October 3, 2025, a judge sentenced him to 4 years and 2 months, 50 months in federal prison. As of early 2026, Combs remains in custody while facing a new wave of litigation. Attorney Tony Busby has reportedly prepared a group of over 120 additional civil lawsuits involving allegations dating back to the early 2000s. Furthermore, the business fallout is total. Major brands like Adidas, Tom Ford, Imagery, Diageo, and numerous Black-owned businesses have severed all ties, and he has been forced to step down from his positions at Revolt TV and his Capital preparatory schools. For the man who once famously said, "Can't stop, won't stop," the year 2026 represents a definitive halt to a multi-decade reign. From Mary J. Blige's high-stakes stage choices to the billion-dollar collapse of Ye's Adidas empire, the legal battles of these icons reveal the staggering price of fame. We've seen Rihanna fight back from the brink of bankruptcy, Jay-Z defend a simple hand gesture for millions, and Diddy's reign end in a historic federal verdict. These stories prove that in the world of Black excellence, a single signature or vibe can trigger a multi-million-dollar landslide. But as these legends navigate the thin line between artistic inspiration and legal liability, one question remains. In an industry built on borrowing and influence, are these massive lawsuits protecting creators' rights, or are they simply predatory shakedowns targeting the wealthy?